Summer came, and I decided to spend a few days at my grandfather's dacha, in a village where time seemed to stand still and everything was so quiet and peaceful. After lunch, when the sun was still high in the sky, I decided to spend the evening fishing. Returning from fishing at night, when darkness enveloped everything and only the moon faintly lit the road, I suddenly saw the house I had heard scary stories about. It looked even more terrifying than I had imagined: broken windows, peeling walls, and tree branches breaking through, as if trying to escape. And most surprisingly, a weak, flickering light burned in one of the windows. I stopped and felt my heart beat faster. Immediately, my grandfather's stories about the man without arms, with a long beard and the height of a dwarf, who roams near this house, came to mind. They said he appeared at night, asked for a light, and if you refused, he disappeared along with the light in the house. My legs seemed rooted to the ground, but something compelled me to get closer. I approached the old, sagging gate and tried to peer inside through a gap in the wooden fence. Suddenly, he emerged from behind the bushes, the very same man. His face was pale, almost translucent, his beard reached the ground, and his old coat had no sleeves. He slowly walked up to me and in a quiet, creaky voice asked, "Got a light?" My heart almost jumped out of my chest. Taking a few steps back, I tried to respond, but the words stuck in my throat. The man tilted his head as if in anticipation, but I couldn't say anything. And suddenly he vanished, as did the light in the house. I turned and ran like I had never run before. The darkness seemed to swallow me with every step, and all around I heard only the rustling of leaves and branches. When I finally reached the dacha, my grandfather was already waiting for me on the porch. "You saw him, didn't you?" he asked, as if knowing everything in advance. I just nodded, unable to speak a word. Grandfather sat me down on the bench and began to tell the story of that house. Once, a wealthy merchant lived there with his family. He was known for his cruelty and never helped the villagers, even in the hardest times. One day, a beggar came to him, asking for food and shelter for the night, but the merchant drove him away, ordering his servants to beat him. Since then, strange things began to happen in the village. People disappeared, strange voices were heard at night, and the merchant's house gradually fell into disrepair. The merchant and his family died under mysterious circumstances, and it was said that their souls remained in the house. And the man without arms is the same beggar who comes every night seeking help. Those who refused him became part of this curse, disappearing without a trace or going mad. My night at the dacha was filled with fear and sleeplessness. Every sound seemed like the footsteps of that man. Every shadow reminded me of his pale face. I knew I would never approach that house again. Grandfather reassured me, saying that if you didn't disturb the cursed house, it wouldn't harm you. But I understood that this horror would stay with me forever as a reminder that not all stories are just fiction.